One of these mini displays is expensive and the other is very cheap. And they're both kind of awesome. If you've ever seen these tiny portable displays and wondered what the deal is with them or if they're any good, I've had both of these for over a year and they're both great. And I kind of wanted to break down what you get when you spend a lot of money on one versus a little bit of money on one. So this one right here, it's probably, I mean, you could probably tell, right, by looking at it, this one's small and has 3D printed feet. This one looks like an Apple product. This is the more expensive one. So this one has a retail price of $500. And this one has a retail price of $60. So that's a pretty big price difference. This more expensive one is an espresso 15-inch touch display. And this one is from a company without a brand. Amazon currently lists it as Dog. And it's not available for sale anymore, but this same monitor is cranked out under different brands and logos all over the place. So if you look up 15-inch portable display, you're just gonna see dozens of very similar looking monitors, and the reason they look the same is because they are the same. They just have different weird brand names that you've never heard of. They're both 1080 displays, but I will say literally until filming this video, I thought this was a 4K display because it looks really, really good. So it's a much higher quality panel. The coding, the colors of it. I do use this for video work because it's pretty color accurate. I use this one much more as a reference monitor. And it honestly, for 60 bucks, when you get it out of the box and you look at it, you're gonna be like, this is really good for the price. It's kind of amazing. So this one, the reason I bought this one was because I needed a reference monitor for some of my video switchers that don't have built-in displays. So things like the Rodecaster Video or the A10 Mini, where I want to monitor my cameras and I needed a small, simple display that's easy to like take and carry and stuff. I just looked for the cheapest display that had an HDMI port, because this does have a mini HDMI port, but as you can see, can also be used via Thunderbolt. So right now, both of these are only being powered by a single Thunderbolt cable that's delivering both the signal and the power to them. If you want to run this off of HDMI, you need to plug in USB-C power and then plug in your HDMI source. This is not a touch display. This is, you know, it doesn't have the best viewing angle in the world. It's not the brightest display in the world, but it 100% gets the job done. And for $60, it's quite good. This one over here, when I won one of the Rode Creator of the Year awards in 2024, this was part of the prize pack. So Espresso is an Australian company. Rode is in Australia. I think a lot of people from Rode like and use these displays, so they included them in the prize packs. And it is really good. I mean, if you have the money for it, you might as well get it. It also just has a magnetic stand, so you see how easy it was to just kind of hold that there. And it does very much look like it would be an Apple product. It's very clear where they got their inspiration. And I'm currently doing the same thing, running this off of a single Thunderbolt hub. This has 2 USB-C ports, and that's it. So that means if you want to use the Espresso display with an HDMI source, you need to get into the world of USB to HDMI cables and converters and stuff, which is totally fine, but it's just something to be aware of. I just wanted simple HDMI for my video switcher, so that's why I went with this monitor over here. And this one is, you know, it's made out of metal, it's beautiful. It has this very Apple-esque stand that is basically just a tiny iMac stand that can hold it up. And then, like I showed a minute ago, it's just magnetic, so you just wanna pop that in there, you go like that. It looks like the stand you get with this one is now a lot more flexible and can even go taller, which is nice because a lot of people like to take these and sort of, you have your laptop and then you position this above it. And so you have like your screens right here, which if you're working in a more compact space, like at a school or a coffee shop or even a cubicle or something, being as compact as possible is really good. This one requires it to be a second display, kind of like that, which is how I use it most of the time. And for the past several months, it's kind of crazy how useful these have been. For months now, I've had sort of a makeshift workstation just set up in our kitchen because I like editing. I mean, my MacBook is my main computer, so I like editing on here. But after filming and working in here all day, it's nice to be like out somewhere else and the kitchen is open and it's bright and I can see outside and our dogs it's just a nice place to work. And so I have this here and it's, you know, editing with 2 displays is always really, really nice to just organize media and different windows and stuff. So I fully see the value. If you're somebody who travels on the road a lot, if you're a student, if you're just someone who works in a cubicle and needs another display, I think there's a lot of value in having one of these 15-inch portable displays to just expand your workstation and they work quite well. Now, since this is a very Apple-like display, the Espresso one, that also means in a few cases it has form over function. You might have noticed, and again, this could be different with a new stand, the magnet's not as strong as I would like it to be for how nice and expensive this is. I would really like this magnet to hold it on there more firmly. There are times you have to be kind of careful when you want to adjust it or change it that you don't sort of slide this off. And if you get it slightly off, it'll sort of dip or whatever. So I've had a couple close calls, almost one right now. I've had a couple close calls over the year that I've had this. This one, the cheap one, came with this folio case. So the specific one that I have, this random brand that probably never really existed, doesn't exist anymore. So if you search up, portable 15-inch monitor, you're gonna find a bunch of things that look like this, probably have the exact same features. They come, a lot of them, in these like folio cases, and these are supposed to work almost like those like kickstand origami cases for like iPads and stuff that prop it up. Absolutely not. Complete trash as a stand. It does not work. There are some monitors you might find that have like a kickstand that flips out in the back. It's physically part of the display, like it's a piece of plastic, almost like a Nintendo Switch or something would have. Those seem like the way to go. That was not an option when I was looking for mine, but that would be a smart way to go. This little folio thing is good for storing the screen, putting it in your bag, but as an actual stand, it doesn't work at all. So what I ended up doing was I found these little monitor feet. These are actually for a different monitor. I just 3D printed them. If you're in the world of 3D printing, it wouldn't be hard to make a shape that would fit this. I think I had to scale these up because originally they were a little too small to fit this monitor. I don't remember even what they're intended for, but they're nice and sturdy and they work pretty well for that. You could also probably use something like a tablet, like an iPad stand or an easel that you see. So I would not rely on this to support it. No matter what the product images show, you need something else to hold this up reliably. For the Espresso display, they do sell cases for it, but they're like $99. Don't buy that. Instead, get a $10 laptop sleeve and you're good to go. This one, it's padded inside. I think this was actually like $8. It's padded inside, has an external pocket that I can put the stand and the Thunderbolt cable, and it's awesome and, fits anywhere that a laptop sleeve will fit. But another thing I want to touch on when it comes to the functionality of the Espresso display, I would like to express my thoughts on the fact that it is also a touch display, which is pretty cool. And they even do sell a pen for this, so it can almost kind of be a Wacom tablet. It doesn't have like the pressure sensitive. I don't think you would ever actually want to use it as like a Wacom tablet. Very cool in theory, or if you just want to, I don't know, you just want to touch your display and get your fingerprints all over it, you totally can. That's actually pretty cool. I can't say that it's something I've used a lot, but I can see in a lot of work environments, collaborative environments, instead of having to pass a trackpad or a mouse around, being able to just move things around by whoever's looking at that would be very helpful, because these are great in like group settings where you need to, someone on a computer, then a group display. They work really well for that. But in a very Apple-like fashion, there are no physical buttons on this. So if you want to change any settings, you have to use a 2-finger swipe, and then you can do brightness and volume, because it does have built-in speakers. You can go into the menus and sort of change things like that, turn it into like a game mode or a work mode, which is not super ideal to me. Every time you want to change the brightness, you have to swipe up, and sometimes it's not as easy as just having a button. The less expensive, less fully featured, this is not a touch display. So it's just got physical buttons. You have a menu button and a dial, and you have a back button, and actually that's it. So you have 2 buttons. But that's how you go through all your menus and go through all your settings. And it's pretty easy. You can just pop up, adjust your brightness right there, pop back out of the menu. When it comes to like flashiness, that's not as flashy, but it sure is, it's a lot more user-friendly than having to do everything by touch, which, how would you even know? I had to look up, because how would you even know that you're supposed to swipe up with 2 fingers from the bottom in order to adjust your screen brightness? And the cheaper display also does have a 3.5mm headphone output. So if you need that for some reason, if it's connected to your laptop probably has a headphone output, so I don't know. But if it's connected to a video switcher, I don't know. I don't know why you would ever actually really need that, because anything this is connected to probably has some kind of headphone output as well. But hey, you got it, and it's a cool feature. Now, another thing, I don't know if we can see the viewing angle. This one, I'm holding this pretty flat to the camera. Maybe I can go to this screen here. It's not necessarily in focus, but you can see like the quality of it stays the same no matter what angle you look at it from. Whereas the cheap display, you know, if you're dead on, it looks good. As soon as you kind of go to the side, you can see the viewing angle changes. So this is definitely much better if you can view it straight on rather than not. Now, Espresso does make higher end monitors that have like 4K displays and higher refresh rates. This one has a 60 hertz refresh rate, and so does this one. So they're the same resolution, they're the same refresh rate. I have a video I was working on. It's the video file I had here, so I'm sorry that you have to deal with 3 of me right now, but it is what it is. They both look great when they play back video. I have actually played games on this one a number of times, and it's been really fun for that. So I haven't, it really does kind of go to show this one for the cheap price. If you buy a cheap one, I think when you take it out of the box and you plug it in, especially if you're not super young like I am, and you remember how bad and expensive displays used to be, when you spend like $60-ish on something like this, and it looks quite good and it works well as you would expect it to, I think you're gonna feel really impressed when you take this out of the box. When you're using the more expensive Espresso display, you're definitely going to feel the difference where, you know, not all 1080p is created equal. It's kind of the same thing I use, like this camera I'm recording on, the Sony FX3, is a 4K camera. Our doorbell is also a 4K camera. I cannot interchange the footage from our doorbell and the FX3. It would be very obvious there's not the same quality, even though it is the same resolution. And so between these two, in person, they're both 1080, 60 hertz displays. You can definitely see that this is using a much higher quality 1080 panel than this is. Is it a $440 better panel? I don't know. The thing you never want to do in a situation like this is go for the budget option, be like, okay, I don't need the best thing, I'm gonna get the cheapest thing I can afford. You get that and it's good enough, and then something goes wrong with it and it breaks, and you're like, okay, I have to get another one, I have to get another one. And eventually you've had to replace the cheap thing several times, and you realize it would have been less expensive and more practical to just get the better thing from the beginning, and then the problem is fixed. The build quality on the cheaper monitor here is very, very plasticky, and there's even some parts, there's like, I don't know, molding joints or connection lines where it almost looks like melted together. It's not the best build quality. It's nice that it has the buttons. They feel everything's very plasticky and very flimsy, but it works. And I've had this one for over a year. I've had this one for a year and a half now at this point, and it works, right? So despite that, I've definitely gotten my $60 worth out of this. Now this one I've had for just over a year and it still works great. I definitely do use this one a lot more. So having both of these monitors available, I do go for the Espresso one every time because it's a much nicer monitor to use. But when it comes down to it, they both are super capable, and the cheap one seems to be reliable enough. Especially the HDMI port is the thing that I think would fail first. So if you're not using it through HDMI and using it mostly through USB or Thunderbolt, then I think you probably will get a lot more longevity out of it. But especially if you just need something really inexpensive, you're doing a lot of events, maybe you need to get a bunch of them for students or employees or something, or you're just on a budget and you travel a lot and you want a portable display to work on the road. Getting the cheap display in this case is totally a viable option and can absolutely suit your needs. The more premium display, of course, is a more premium option, so it's the way to go if you want a better quality panel, if you want touch functionality, that's hard to say, or if you also just want a brighter display with a better viewing angle. You know, it's much easier to have a group of people sitting around this and everyone sees it at the same quality, as opposed to this, the person on the side is like, they can kind of see what's happening, but it's not going to be as nice as this. That being said, if you have not used one of these displays and you are somebody who does a lot of work on a laptop, I would encourage you to check it out because it might be a really simple and potentially very affordable way to kind of expand your workflow, make things just a lot more fun, a lot more easy. And if you travel on the go and you feel like you're a little constricted to maybe working on a laptop, this is a way to bring what feels like a fully featured, full-powered workstation with you wherever you go, and that's pretty awesome.